What's up, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more synth pop, and we're back with some more Yazoo, or as I knew them back in the day, Yaz. And indeed, that's still how they're listed here. This CD is, obviously it came out here in the States, so out here they were called Yaz because of a legal conflict with a American record label called Yazoo. So anyway, as I mentioned in the first couple reactions I did to Yazoo, or Yaz, they were started when Vince Clarke had left Depeche Mode after the first album, and he teamed up with Alison Moyet, a singer with sort of like a soul kind of, really powerful soul singing range. And they produced two albums before they split ways. I've since read a little bit about the end of Yazoo, and apparently there was a breakdown in communication between them, and essentially the second album they recorded large parts of it. They weren't even in the studio at the same time, and I think the song or the album itself is called, what is it, You and Me Both, in the sense that, like, oh yeah, you feel that way, you and me both, so I feel like there's sort of a bit of a irony to the second album, but I've understood that they've since sort of reconnected. I think they did a couple live performances of some of their material, so at the very least I think if any hatchets that might have been around have been buried, which is very nice to hear. And I remember reading, Vince Clarke was talking about, I just didn't have the greatest personal skills at the time. Like, I could have been better, I could have reached out, I could have, prevented the sort of withering of the personal and professional relationship, but I just really didn't, have the wherewithal to do that. And by the same token, I remember reading Alison Moyet saying, like, I get it, I was very passionate, but I probably wasn't always easy to be around, so I love hearing about people coming to a better understanding of their earlier selves and sort of, trying to mend some fences that might have been broken at some point. It just, it warms my heart, and I've tried in my own life to, like, ameliorate wrongs, or at least offer contrition when I feel that, maybe the way I behaved in a certain situation upon later reflection was not ideal. So I love reading about stuff like that. So yeah, my understanding is that they've come to some sort of rapprochement since initially sort of having an acrimonious end after the second album. So big ups to that, big ups to them. We're going to listen to the second tune on their debut album, Upstairs at Eric's. I did want to again give a shout out to the artwork on both the front and back cover. I've always loved that. I just think it has such a great sort of like intriguing, like mysterious sort of look. This, attic with the mannequin sitting at a table. We're going to listen to a tune. It's the second one on the album, called Two Pieces. Now, I don't remember this one at all. I remember their hits from this album. I remember Don't Go in Situation, although, as I said at the time, I remembered them more musically than lyrically, and someone actually commented, hey, Vince has said, to him, the music is far more important than the specific words that are used in the lines. He's like, so it's no accident that you actually remember the music more than the lyrics, and I totally respect and appreciate that, and it does make sense to me. So shout out to the person who made that comment, and also shout out to Vince Clarke for really putting his mind and his effort and his soul, if you will, into the sonics and the keyboard work. So yeah, big ups to him. So I can't really speak to the song lyrically, but I am intrigued that the way it's spelled, it's two as in T-O-O, as in like too much, or he did it two pieces. Which again, in light of what I understand about the evolution of their professional and sort of personal relationship, it's already sort of interesting, and I'm wondering if there's, maybe something there, even though my understanding is that the, acrimonious stuff came a little bit later. Nevertheless, here we go. This is Yaz, or Yazoo, Two Pieces, from their 1982 album Upstairs at Eric's. My first thought is, I had this cassette tape as a kid. I don't really remember this. Like, it, oftentimes when I start a track, I'll be, oh wait, okay, this one. So far, I don't remember this. Oh, I like the way the bass is creeping in. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
Write me a letter, a face in the hole, hiding from someone, afraid of the fall, and she's waiting for someone to take her back to where she came from, and she'll wait.
Adele before Adele was Adele. Which is not, there's no insult happening in any direction there. Like, I think Adele is a great singer, but I feel like, Alison Moyet was kind of doing that same, I blend soul and pop singing into one in a very powerful way. Oh, listen to that. With the syncopated drum beat, it was fantastic. And then back into the full sort of groove. There's a tenderness to that, the digital string melody that like an emotional sensitivity to that melodic line. Feeling only enhanced by this like narrowed, focused instrumental interlude. Makes me think of like flashing back to scenes of my childhood, scenes of my youth. He used it like in a montage from an 80s movie. Like at the end of the measure, those snare double hits. Pop, pop, pop. Again, that digital string melody is very tender. Yeah, I don't really remember that historically, which is weird because, again, this was one of the cassette tapes I had very early on as a kid. I definitely remember listening to it, and as I said, don't go in situation. Maybe I listened to them far more than the rest of the album. I just kept rewinding the tape and playing it. That is a possibility. But despite not really like ringing a bell when that one started, I really did enjoy it, and I enjoyed her powerful singing, but blended with Vince's excellent and like I said, both like tender but also like captivating synth and drum machine sonics. Just brilliant. Yeah, it's weird. My understanding is that this is sort of a lightning in a bottle thing. They weren't around for all that long. They only put out 2 albums, but his understanding of songwriting musically and her ability to really hit powerful and memorable vocals in that same idiom. I really think it has this special quality that there's not a lot of other 80s groups have this sort of sound. Not just because it's female fronted vocals, whereas you think of a lot of these groups, including many that I like, Depeche Mode, Duran Duran, Tears for Fears, and so on. It's a male voice, so it's interesting to hear, like a sound very similar to Depeche Mode from the same time. Not surprising, because obviously, as I've talked about in a number of videos, the first Depeche Mode album, a lot of the engineering and sonics were provided by Vince Clarke. So it's a similar sound in that regard, but it's so very different hearing her singing compared to Dave Gahan. So yeah, I really do love Yazoo's sound, this sort of lightning in a bottle kind of one-off thing that it was. But yeah, I'm going to go through more of this album. Let me know if there's a particular song. Someone did give a shout for a song on the second album. I don't have that yet. My plan is to get it, certainly, excuse me. But at this moment, I don't actually have it. So if there's anything else on this album that you'd like to see reacted to, I can do that sooner. But if it's something on the second album, my plan is to get it, but it may not be for a few weeks, maybe even a couple months, because there's some things lined up to get, and ultimately I do have a finite budget, so I am trying to get some more things. But like I said, if there's something on this album that you'd like to hear, do let me know. Other than that, thank you for listening and watching. I do appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Peace.